Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kevin Tucker here on GlenwoodSports.com, joined right now by current Glenwood wrestler and future Iowa Hawkeye wrestler, Matt Malcom. Matt is coming off a record season for Glenwood for the year of 2015 with 47 single-season wins. Matt, thanks for joining us. And let's start it off with, when did it all begin with you in wrestling?
Well, when I was little, I think around 5 or 6, I started down at the Little Kids Club in the youth room in Glenwood, and started out there with my dad, and Chad Stouter was the main coach at that time, and just got me into it until middle school, and went to middle school, had a couple coaches there, then into high school.
Growing up, I know you talked about Stouter was something as a coach when you were really young. More to your high school career, who are some of the coaches that really have helped you out and get to where you're at today?
Adam Boothie and Brad Ashe have been huge in my high school during the season, and then out of season I wrestled at a club in Omaha, and it's called MWC, and Zach Dominguez and Zach Wilcox are the main people that are coaches up there, and they've helped me a bunch throughout the off season. And
going into the off season, I know you had a pretty good off season this year through the camp with Dominguez. And talked a little bit about the tournaments you have wrestled in this summer, and then if you plan on wrestling in any more before the season starts.
Okay, yeah, sure. After the season, I went to, started freestyle and Greco for the first time, and wrestled that all spring and some of the summer up till July, but at the end of June I went to the national duels down in Tulsa, Oklahoma as part of Team Iowa, and went 5-2 in freestyle and 2-1 in Greco down there. Had a couple big wins and a few big losses too. Then went to a camp in Iowa City where I was able to be with some of the coaches and learn a lot from them, and then went straight from there to a tournament in North Dakota, Fargo, and went 3-2 in both freestyle and Greco there. Had a pretty big win against a decent kid, and then another one against a Iowa State recruit. And then that was pretty much it that I've done so far. We started back up with folk style right now, and I have 2 tournaments coming up in the next 3 weeks. One's in Iowa City, and then one's in Cedar Falls.
So no off season for you this summer and fall, going back from last season. Verbally just committed to Iowa, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And talk a little bit about your relationship. I saw with Coach Morningstar was heavily recruiting you. How did he and Iowa first get a good look at you, and once they first saw you wrestle, where did it go from there?
Well, it would have been at the Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I was part of the Team Iowa, because he was one of the assistant coaches on the team, and I had a couple big matches there that I wrestled pretty well in, and he just saw that and talked to me a little bit about it. And then when I was up at the camp, he came and talked to me and introduced me to the head coaches, and really enjoyed it up there. And then at Fargo again, he was one of my coaches also, so it was nice that I got to wrestle with him quite a bit this summer.
Take us through their whole recruiting visit at Iowa. For us, people who don't get to go on recruiting visits, what does that entail?
Yeah, a lot of it's eating. We ate quite a bit, but you get there on Friday and go out to eat for lunch, and then go and see some of the campus, go to watch one of their practices, and some type of entertainment at night. I think we went bowling and miniature golf. Then Saturday, wake up and go to breakfast, and then watch another one of their practices and tour the Carver Hawkeye Arena. And then we went to a football game Saturday night against Pittsburgh.
Pretty good game to go to.
Yeah, it was, except we left at halftime.
So, what was it during your recruiting visit at Iowa that really stood out compared to maybe some other schools that are recruiting you, like Iowa State or South Dakota? Was that with Augustana?
Yeah. Everything seemed to really fit me at Iowa. Just the social aspect, it just seemed like one huge family, which I'm used to in a small town. Everybody knew each other and was good friends with each other. And then the wrestling, I feel like I really can improve the most at Iowa compared to any other school. Just the way that they coach and the way they run practices. And then just the academics is another huge one too.
Heading into back to high school now, heading into your senior campaign, what's it like with competition in the wrestling room? I've seen Glenwood's done great this last couple of years as a team, and they come back even stronger this year. Talk about just you yourself, even how getting better every day in Glenwood is going to help prepare you for state and onto at Iowa.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. Just coming in every day with an open mind and wanting to get better is going to be the big thing, and getting the whole team to buy in and just being a leader. Me and the head coach, Brad Ashley, have talked a lot about just making sure everybody was all in this year because we could have a really, really good year.
We returned a lot of guys last year that were freshmen and sophomores that played more of a big role for those little young guys at big weights too. So you guys should have a great team coming back. I know it's early on and before wrestling's even started, but have you guys ever talked about some goals both you and your team have for this upcoming season?
Yeah, sure. We want to be up there. We want to make state duels, and we want to do really well there. We think top 4 isn't super unreasonable at this point. And then I can't remember all of them, but just as a individual team, we want to be up there as well, which we can really do this year with.
Goals for you as far as state-wise? Do you want a top 2 finish,
No,
make it to finals, make it a champion?
Yep.
All right, that's what I like to hear. Going on from that, let's talk about just a little quick questions for you. Favorite wrestler growing up?
That's a tough one. I never really had one favorite. I guess when I was really little, it would be like just watching old matches of Dan Gable or Cale Sanderson was big back then too, I guess. So he was one of them too growing up.
Is there a wrestler nowadays that you try to model your style of wrestling from? Or do you just you're just Matt Malcom and you go out there and...
Yeah, I like to watch matches between like Jordan Burroughs and Tony Ramos, Brent Metcalf. So I kind of like pick away things that I feel I can do and make them into my own. So it's really everybody.
What's the biggest difference people in Glenwood watching, whether on Glenwood Sports or at the meet, will see from you? The biggest difference between last year and this year, Matt Malcom?
I'm gonna be a lot more smooth and transition to do a lot of things better, and just every match is gonna be 100%.
Going into this year, you might have a little bit more pressure than normal years being an Iowa commit. Do you see that pressure maybe motivating you more?
Yeah, for sure. I'm ready to have that target because I've always been the underdog and never really had the chance to be the person that everybody wants to be. And now that I have that, it's just going to motivate me more in the weight room, wrestling room, running, everything, just getting ready for every match because I know it's going to be a little bit tougher.
Matt Malcom here, 152-pounder again this year for Glenwood?
Hoping so.
Hoping so?
Yeah.
See where we go from there?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Well, thanks, Matt, for joining us, and good luck for the rest of this season and your future career at Iowa. Thank you.
Thank you.